the day before race day at Ironman Coeur d'Alene. Get out in the water, do a 15-20 minute swim, transition to a 15-20 minute bike, and then transition again to just a short 10-15 minute run. And then we just enjoy the rest of the day and race day tomorrow. 2015, I was at Ultraman World Championships and it was raining and I was going about 40 miles an hour and the bridge was slippery and I cartwheeled till I stopped, and I broke my arm in half, broke my shoulder in 4 pieces, broke 4 ribs, broke my skull open, had brain injury, and it was really tough for a while. And last year I signed up for Coeur d'Alene, Idaho Ironman because I wanted to throw an anchor out into the future and have it pull me towards something again, because it's hard when you break and then you lose something you love. And when it all went away, that's hard. But what's harder is not doing it. It doesn't matter what you're going through, you just keep going. Like it says, anything is possible. Just being here is my goal this weekend. I just want to finish.
I've got to throw 3 bottles on the bike, food in my bento box, put my sunnies on in my helmet. Yeah, just checklists. That way you don't have to rely on remembering stuff.
An accident down there?
Yeah, bike wreck. Hit a vehicle.
Just seeing that ambulance and cyclist was kind of crazy, because that was us.
In 2015, the plan was to make a documentary about Scott finishing. In 2013, he was happy he finished, but this was about him really doing well.
We had had a solid day of things going so right, and then a second day of so much of it going so right. It took us a little bit to really comprehend that something actually could go wrong.
That's a safety feature.
You know, most people we figured out a dummy to test those things, but we used 2 dummies.
Dummy 1, dummy 2.
Next time. Yep.
I was loving life because you can point your camera anywhere and it's just paradise here. I was out on the course and I was getting messages from the crew. It's like, okay, you got to speed it up. Scott's going to be finishing soon.
Sweet shots for days and days. Let's go catch up to Scott now.
I came upon an accident scene.
happening, and I saw it in a big way this morning, is people caring for people, people greeting one another, people remembering good times.
Ultraman is based on the values of Aloha, Ohana, Kokua. It really is something more than those 3 words to us, though. It's the way we live our lives here in the islands. We help each other all the time, year-round. It's great because we grow a family that's worldwide.
It's great that we have this Ohana that comes together, and those of us who do live here in the Ultraman Ohana, they literally are my real family.
I have friends all over the world because of Ultraman.
Hi, buddy.
What are you doing?
We're packing up the van.
Can I help?
Not this time, buddy. So my race is tomorrow.
Huh?
You gonna come watch me?
You gonna be at the finish?
Yes.
Let's see. Good job, Dad.
Oh, the latest fashion. I'm gonna sleep with it on, yeah. I'm gonna sleep with my wee hat on.
Do you ever have problems
When I first come out of the water, it's not a bad idea, depending on how I've done. 2 full bags of Infinite. The rebuilder.
Yeah, the compact.
It's all going in the van.
She's all finished and buttoned up, she is! Nothing left to do but go out and suffer for 3 days. It's game on, yeah. There's nothing to do now but relax.
Yeah.
Really.
Now it's time to reap the reward of all the bloody work.
Yeah.
From Sylvan Lake, Alberta, representing Canada, Scott McDermott.
Welcome to Hawaii Ultraman 2015. Team Mackenzie, the Arctic Fox. Yeah.
Day 1, they start at Kailua Pier, Kailua Kona, and they swim 6.2 miles, 10K, to Keoho Bay down the coast. When they come into Keoho Bay, they rinse off in the shower, they get on their bikes, and they ride 90 miles.
Scott McDermott with a time of 3:35.
Oh, nice. All right, that was nice. That's your break. Hey, hi, Kaden. Hi, y'all.
No, I'm good, buddy. You can't do this race without your crew. It's not possible. They're your lifeblood. I'm the engine, and they drive. There's so many moments where
it's a hill.
you're interrelating and you're completely dependent on the crew, and that yields a bigger result than would be otherwise possible.
It's catching up to like people that we never seen before, ever. So that's fun. And I'm sure he's going, this is fun.
Scott McDermott, the Canadian out of Alberta, really storming on through, and this is over an hour faster than last year. 10:31.25 for Scott. The rest of the Warrior Code included in the
You stay right there. You made it.
It was a blasted on, full on headwind. It was just awful.
I saw that wind.
65 years of age and set the
You earned it all.
benchmark for women in their 60s and
Fabulous job.
woman in that category.
But I just kept digging, and I passed all kinds of people.
Do some leg stretching while you're there. You got down, might as well use it.
And got to the finish line.
Hey!
Good job, buddy.
Oh my God.
I had my massage, and then we went over for supper. Amazing day. And tomorrow, no swim, just biking.
Shadow's cartwheeling me. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Nice day.
And for me, coming to spring training camp is to escape the cold and get out of the snow and get away from work and all the obligations. And then to train with other people, like to meet more really great like-minded people so I don't feel like a weirdo here because I'm among my people.
It's not a race, but I'm second. That was awesome, dude.
And so I pulled today for 45 minutes straight. I pulled on a bunch of climbs. I feel so strong. I feel so good. This year, it's really fun.
So tomorrow is the Mount Lemmon climb. It's listed in the top 100 climbs in North America. And it's 6,000 plus vertical feet. It's like a 3-hour climb. We're tired, we're exhausted. We've been swimming and biking, running every day. Muscles are sore, muscles are tired, body's aching, all that kind of stuff. But we're gonna ask it for one more push. And mentally it's really cool because it really shows that the human body is capable of so much more than we give it credit for. But it's a beautiful ride. I like to refer to it as a soul-destroying, gear-snapping, life-questioning effort. But that's awesome.
Oh, it was a great shot.
Look at that rock, eh?
I'm up here at one of the turnaround points, and I just had to stop because, damn, that's nice. Hey, there's Drew. How's it going? Yeah, it's quite the climb, eh?
Like we're in a different world now.
Good job, Shelly. Whoop, whoop.
Oh man, I'm struggling. Like my energy's low, and I'm fat. I'm not society fat, but I'm where I want to be fat. You know, 207 pounds, 90 odd kilos. Like, it's too fat. You know what? I stayed on plan like 95%. No results. 6 months, not a single pound. That's frustrating. I'm really frustrated. And I don't feel like training at all. I'm not enjoying it. I'm tired all the time. My schedule's a nightmare. But anyway, I got myself down to the lake. So I'll just get in, go for a swim, see what happens, I guess. I mean, what else are you gonna do? I don't know.
Six o'clock in the morning on Friday. 250k ride to do today. A little intimidating. It's a long ride to be completely by myself.
kilometers. Hey, that's an Ironman. Look at that.
Still bicycling?
Yeah, I'm still bicycling. Smooth. Oh, I need some food. That's what I need. But that was good. 243K solo ride out in the middle of nowhere in this beautiful country of mine. Minus 27 this morning.
I have to eat about 3,600 calories a day. This is one of the hard parts of training, is getting all the food in.
Thank you, Sylvan Lake, for being an amazing host to 11 months of awesome training. Now I go to Hawaii and put it to the test.
What's Daddy gonna do in Hawaii?
Gosh.
I'm gonna train, and then what? Am I gonna be in a race? Yeah. Are you gonna come and watch? What are you gonna say when you see me go by?
Catch up, Dad.
Catch up, Dad.
I can't tell you how good it feels to be outside, flying down the highway at 34 kilometers an hour. It's a cooker out here. I just bumped into Doug, my crew.
Hey, how's it going? He's here. He's ready.
Yeah. It's good to ride with Jochen because at least I get to see him. Because during the race, I don't think I will. I hope it's like this on race day. Beautiful. It may seem strange, but I always love getting a flat tire before the race. Yeah, I'm Scott McDermott, eh? This is my Jose brother, Lal, eh?
That's right, eh?
How's it going, eh?
Pretty good.
Good, yeah, take off, eh?
Clink.
Yeah, we don't have any beer, eh? You can't drive, you can't ride a bike with beer, eh?
You really should carry a stubby beer with you.
No, eh? Because you could get a flat if you dropped it, eh?
Totally, eh?
That would be bad.
Hey, flat beer.
Flat beer, oh. Nobody likes that, eh?
Nobody.
Cheers, cheers.
Malasadas.
Malasadas, a Portuguese donut. It is.
And owned by Hawaii now. Made their own. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
That was amazing.
I'm gonna share the real Hawaiian experience with you right now. The sprouted coconut.
And that's the egg inside. His body says, I need that.
That's like Mother Nature's marshmallow.
Oh, that's amazing.
Couple more false tops. And there it is. Yeah! 10,000 feet, baby.
So far? Yeah. Good day, no swimming today. Well, maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of swimming. Swimming on the bike, yeah.
Second day, they ride 171.4 miles and wind up at the north end of the island.
Just took off from day 2 start point. It's our job to just put pedal to the metal and get down to the turnoff and get positioned up so that we can take care of Scott when he gets down there.
Scotty is like almost catching up with the pack. Just past Scott. He's got his jacket off, must have been good. I'm way behind Scott now. It's a little hard to give up shots. I was riding with another Aussie, Peter Hudson, and we sort of were going through this scene, like this area. To me, I remember seeing it for the first time. It looks like Jurassic Park. So we were riding through there and Scott was behind us and he caught up and he looked really fresh.
Hit a point and I just said, how many half Ironmans have you done? And we're in the middle of this Ultraman race where it's a 270 odd K ride and he's looking at me like I'm this weird bloody Aussie. And I just turned and said to him, mate, we've only got a half Ironman ride left. Within about 10 seconds, he'd put like 50 metres on us and was hammering it down this hill.
And I'd say there was probably a 20 to 30 metre gap between each of the three of us in convoy. Our crew cars had gone past and I believe all three of them were up in front of us.
We got 2 bikers coming up behind us. He's got a right-hand turn to make up here.
He's got pills in about 15 minutes.
As you come up to these bridges, there's sort of there's a footpath and there's a road, and so I'm going the road. Looked up, I saw Scotty's gone the footpath, and then I just heard this sickening, just this thud. And yeah, Scotty just went down right in front of me, probably doing 60, 70 k an hour.
We sort of launched off the footpath of the bridge but then onto the road. It was like the bike had just slid out.
I was off the bridge on the other side of the bridge before I could stop the bike. Jumped off, ran back, and yeah, he was just wedged in the gutter.
It was like he was twisted, but his head was twisted the complete opposite way. And my immediate reaction was he's broken his neck.
It's just blood bleeding from the head, and Foxy was already there, had already stopped, and I think he might have even said, like, I think he's dead.
I didn't think he was going to survive that crash.
I came up, I'm not sure exact time frame, but it seemed like it was within probably 30 seconds of when the accident occurred. I immediately managed to kind of get my head around the vision of the cars and see that there was an athlete laying on the ground. And when I came upon him, I thought that was the last I saw of Scott. I thought he was gone. I didn't think there's any way someone laying in that much blood would recover from that. You wanna not believe that's the case, and I was really happy to see when he started to make some movement.
He tried real hard to get up at one point, and we just had to hold him down. And yeah, then he was just back to lights out.
We kind of thought, well, he should be here by now. And of course you start thinking, well, you know, Peter was there, and so was Adam and Gary. Okay, if one of them had a flat and one of them's helping or whatever, why is all 4 of them stopped?
So I kind of put my finger in his hand and closed his hand around me. I just said, if you can hear me, squeeze my finger. And it was like the lightest squeeze that I've ever felt. It was like a little, not even a little baby. It was just a little tiny squeeze, but you sort of knew he was there.
So we got out of the van and we're sort of looking back, and a car went by from the direction that Scott and all the other riders were. And it was really odd. They kind of flicked their lights, and the person in the passenger position pointed back.
My wife was on my crew. She at that point sort of had taken his helmet off and was holding him sort of around the back of the head just to keep his head still. And I can remember her looking at me and saying, "It's not good." She said she could feel his brain. His breathing went from that horrible sort of that sort of a noise till he vomited, and then we sort of, I remember looking at Hutto and we went, "I reckon he's going to be all right."
That was the happiest I've ever seen someone vomiting, because I just remember thinking, like, he's still with us, we know he's there and he's fighting.
Way off in the distance in the other direction, we saw an ambulance coming with lights on. And it was just instant. At that point, we're like, we got to get back. Doug quickly parked the vehicle off to the side of the road. You don't even know what's happened yet, but right away the head's just kind of going, "Please don't let it be Scott. Please don't let it be Scott." And of course, come around a couple of these vehicles, and that's where my head went right away, is that, oh my God, a vehicle has accidentally hit Scott, and that's Scott laying on the ground, and that's his guts lying all over the road. And I thought, that's it, he's dead. And you know, it just shocks you to the core. Not only just to see someone that's been hit and killed, but of course it's your best friend, and you're just like, what am I even looking at here? But then realizing, okay, he's moving around a little bit on the ground, so hey, fantastic, he's alive. And then you get closer and realize, okay, well, that's not guts. It is blood, and it's a lot of blood, but it's not guts, it's puke. Of course, it looks bad, but at least he's alive.
I know the Hawaii Fire Department and paramedics quite well, and I know that they can do a damn good job, but I was worried about where he was at because it was quite a ways away from everything. I knew he was at least 40 miles from any major hub. So that's why I was quite impressed that paramedics got there as quickly as they did.
You sort of just stay with him, you just keep talking to him. He's not really answering back, but he's mumbling and quite incoherent. But again, you're just like, oh, as long as he's mumbling and moving around and whatever, he's alive. That's all you care.
Finish that race for him. That's soul, that spirit. You got it. Gary's up there with you guys too. Yeah? Oh, when I get out? Yeah.
At the time, there's no way I was getting back on my bike.
You know, I talk to the athletes, I go, look, some of them were going to stop, quit. Scott would want you to finish it for him. Go finish this, baby. Take his spirit with you, all right? That's what you can do for him. He'll be fine. He just needs you to help him finish that race for him.
And I thought about it, and just, if that happened to me, and if I thought that I'd ruined someone's world champs, I probably would have said, I definitely want you to go. I knew Scotty would have wanted it.
All right? You got it. It was hard for those guys. They had tears in their eyes, choked up. But they got through that, and I said, please, do it for him.
Adam and I got back on our bikes and finished arm in arm at the end of the day, which was a pretty special moment.
It wasn't even a race anymore. It's a member of your family, you know, or your ohana. Everybody just comes together, like them doing the traffic, us stopping. Everybody just fell into place, did what they saw needed to be done, and stepped up to the plate. It could have been completely different for all of us.
There's tubes hanging out of them, there's bandages and gauze everywhere trying to stop bleeding, and road rash and scrapes and cuts. They're talking all this stuff and you're just trying to take it all in, and Jesus, is he gonna be okay, and is he still alive? And you know, doctors are talking about his skull is cracked. Well, what does that mean? You know, that sounds really bad.
It was a tense, really tense time. I was praying and hoping to God that he would be okay.
It was really devastating. Until we knew that he was in safe care, it was hard to breathe.
I was actually the one who had to tell Hillary. We were at the finish line of day 2, and I said, Scott's had an accident. They're taking him to the hospital right now, so we're gonna get you a ride to the hospital so that you can meet them there.
Is that Hillary? Okay. You find out, okay, well, he's got to be medevaced over to Oahu. It's like, what? And of course, it wasn't really in the cards to have Hillary ride off to Oahu with him, and of course she couldn't drag Caden on a moment's notice over to that island. So basically I stepped up and said, well, hey, I'll just go with them, you stay back here, and then make arrangements to come over to the other island at a later time.
Lyle was so exhausted. We gave him a little bit of support so he could help himself out. He went and had a moment, and then he hopped on that plane.
It had to have been probably one of the windiest days ever. I was wearing a hat at the time, and I couldn't even keep the hat on my head. We take off, and it was a lot of turbulence. Probably the most turbulence I've ever experienced in an aircraft ever.
I needed to be there for Caden. I couldn't take that flight to Oahu.
Lynn from Scott's Gym had been posting on social media, and I was just texting with Lyle on day 2 of the bike because he crushed day 1, was doing great on day 2, and then everything kind of went silent. And I was like, what's going on? You know what, it was about 11 o'clock at night back in Alberta, and I got a text message from Lyle saying Scott had been in an accident. They were airlifting him out because it was pretty serious. And so just chatted back and forth with Lyle, and we weren't sure if our Superman was going to make it, honestly.
And don't forget, the crew decided that they would actually symbolically have one of their crew members ride Scott's bike through to the finish line. And I believe Doug Hembies was going to be that person to do so. As we get ready to welcome the next athlete there to the line as well, it looks as though it is Doug who's coming through wearing the Warrior Code gear. So this is for Scott when he can look back. Let's give a big hand because it's a wonderful tribute to a great man and supporter of the sport, and especially Ultraman Worlds and the Ultraman family. That's for Scott McDermott. We wish him well and hopefully he has a speedy recovery. Thanks very much, guys, and thanks to his team.
I felt pretty guilty for not being here, if I'm being honest. After seeing the pictures and knowing where he was, you just wonder if he'd been here, if that something else might have been different.
It was very emotional to have Peter Hudson come across the line, and Gary Wang, Adam Fox, because they were all in tears, and you know, they were all so worried about Scott, and so they had some very emotional hugs and a lot of tears with those guys as they came in, and those were the only times you could let the emotions escape. And then once the 12 hours was over, then we could go back and, you know, keep updated with Lyle and try and keep in contact and process the fact that we had 2 of our own go down that day.
Please make a circle on the outside of the athletes.
The athletes in the center. The guardrail. Support crew on the outside.
As quick as you can, please. We've got
If anybody
a few more
needs
athletes
another
to join
big
us.
band.
Aloha, keakua, mahalo, keakua. We thank you for another beautiful Hawaiian day, for the tailwind you've given us today. We ask that you guide us, guard us, and keep us all safe. We ask that you be with our brothers who, the Hamakua Coast, claimed their race yesterday. Help them to heal fast and guard over them and their families.
This
is really awesome. There you go.
Are you a runner with this all the way down?
On day 3, they'll start in Hawaii and run 52.4 miles, a double marathon, and finish back in Kona, near where they started.
This is for Scott. I'm going tough. That's a promise for Lyle and Scott. I gave him that morning all the wishes.
and I woke up in the hospital in Honolulu. I like to say it's when my hard drive started recording again.
Is it 2.5 days later?
Yeah.
It's Monday, right?
It is Monday.
And I crashed Saturday.
You crashed Saturday at roughly around 1 o'clock. I don't remember the exact time.
And I looked at him and I was like, how did we get here? He said, well, you crashed your bike. And I knew right away, like, just the way he looked at me, I was like, okay, so it's really good that I'm not dead and the race doesn't matter. He sort of told me what things were like from his perspective, and they came upon the accident scene, and Gary Wang was guiding traffic, and Adam and Peter were huddled over me trying to convince my body to keep breathing. And yeah, Lyle said that was pretty tough. I don't even like to think about it.
Yeah, give him my best. Say hi to Scotty for me. Wish you out of your bad. Hope you're going well.
It actually brought us, I think, closer together because there were some very personal, close moments there. I mean, changing out wound dressings, washing his back. You know, I mean, he had a brain injury, he had broken bones, and it was a long road. And what I just love is just the way the love came pouring in Hawaii, just the help that we received.
Scotty, thinking about you today.
Doing all right. It'll be a little bit of a while, but we'll race again. I have a faith that there's a reason for all of this, whatever that is.
And the time this year for the double marathon, 8:12:05 is across the line as a team. Congratulations, guys. Mr. Miro as well.
This for you too, Scotty.
Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Here they come to the line, guys. Congratulations to the Fox family. Let's bring it to the line with a time of 11:34:25. And you may have noticed what she's wearing there, by the way. That is the Warrior Code shirt for Scott McDermott. So what a tribute to him as well from Beth. And we want to thank Scott James for running as well in his honour as well. He will be very proud. Congratulations to Beth and the squad. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big hand for the 2015 World Ultraman Championships.
Jane Bocas, the race director, was by today and gave me my participants award, which you never like to get. A lot of things are starting to hit home. I'm realizing how tired I am and how much my brain hurts.
And over the next few days, just getting the updates from Lyle. And that, Scott was making progress and he was going to make it home. And just getting on the plane, I think, was a big deal getting back to Canada.
My intention for this race is to push myself harder than I've ever pushed myself. And my intention for the race is to come as close to death as possible without dying. I said that. It's like, okay, God, that's not what I meant. I meant I wanted to try really hard. I didn't mean I actually wanted to die.
13 days after his crash in Hawaii is when I met him. It was in the emergency department. I was expecting someone to have just a little sprained wrist, and instead Scott was lying there with his forearm broken, clavicle broken, and head injury as well. Diffuse axonal injury. Like, it's the most severe head injury you can get. So in the brain you have white matter and gray matter. And so in a diffuse axonal injury, your white matter and gray matter shear off each other. It takes the highest amount of force to get a diffuse axonal injury. And so I was worried about you broken bones that weren't fixed, clavicle, and the head injury too, because you had imaging that was normal, but when we imaged you here, it was definitely not normal. I don't think the people that saw him realized how badly injured he was.
She came in and looked at my x-rays and stuff, and she's like, oh yeah, your arm's broken. When they x-rayed me in Hawaii, I know they x-rayed it from about there forward, and it's broken right here. So they just didn't x-ray far enough back. We need to fix it. And she says, and I don't think we can just put a cast on it, judged by how it's broken. She says, we really need to put a plate and screws in it and hold it together. She said, in your shoulder, we need to rebuild it. We need to put on a hook plate or something and reconnect it, because she said it'll never heal on its own.
Today, I can lift my arm to 45 degrees almost. So it's not any fun, but I'm pretty excited about that. And it'll be tough, but I'm looking forward to running on Sunday. It won't be long, it won't be far, it won't be fast, but my doctor said I could try running after 4 weeks, and tomorrow is 4 weeks after my surgeries.
Hey, I'm on the bike. Spinning. Everything still works. Legs know what to do. So that's cool.
After 6 months of discomfort with the metal in my shoulder and my arm, I finally got my surgery date in July of 2016 to have the metal pulled out. The surgery went brilliantly, and I got cleared to really start to push my shoulder and stretch it to get back that range of motion.
When he first came in, it was hard to think of him going back to triathlon, let alone going back to Ultraman. He couldn't really move his arm, his shoulder, he was very limited. As we progressed through treatment, basically his shoulder wouldn't move was the big thing, that was the big concern. So we stretched it, and we stretched it pretty hard. Well, he put up with me stretching him and giving him quite a bit of pain, so he did well. Yeah, I think he was talking about going back to Ultraman before he could even reach above his shoulder.
Things are healing up, which is great. So yeah, you can kind of see in the stitches there where they were out. And then on my forearm, it's coming along, and it already feels better. I can already lift my arm higher than I could before, so it's good to have the metal out and not have that stopping point. I was watching Lilo and Stitch today with my 4.5-year-old, and there's the part where Stitch says Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind. And not gonna lie to you, I started to cry a little bit. And my son was like, why are you crying, Daddy? I said, well, I was just thinking of all my Ultraman friends that took care of me when I was hurt.
So when he came back from being in the hospital in 2016, he couldn't move his arm. He had plates and screws, and it was in a sling. And most people, with the way that it broke in his shoulder, shouldn't have been able to get that full range of motion back that he now does. I knew that we could get him a lot further along than any doctor was going to tell him, because I knew his personality and his history. His concussion symptoms from the head trauma were quite significant, but he also went and had hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which I still think is one of the main reasons his cognitive function is so great and he was able to get so much of everything back, is because he just fed everything to the brain that it needed, and that's how you're going to recover. How does that feel?
Good.
As we've gone through treatments, anything doesn't heal as fast as what Scott wants it to.
I am outside on a bicycle for the first time since the crash, and I had a lot of trepidation, a lot of concerns about it, but it's fine. Like, I'm totally fine. Shoulders stable, controls the bike well. I had a couple slips on the snow and managed it perfectly. Everything's gold. There's no fears, there's nothing. So I'm really excited.
I think the biggest struggle through the 15 years that I've been treating him is to see him always have this wonderful goal and work so hard to try and achieve it, and something just always seems to come along and take its feet out from under him.
My right knee was getting sore all the time as I was trying to increase my run volume. And I was at the United States at a conference, and we were goofing around playing this one game where you leader of the group throws eggs to the crowd, and there's money in it, and you scramble to get one. And I jumped to get one, and my knee went backwards and folded out and tore.
I saw my knee surgeon last week, met him for the first time. If he shaves the cartilage down, I think recovery's 4 weeks. If he has to sew it up, it's 6 weeks or longer. So, you know, and then it depends when I get to see him.
On my first ride on the trainer since the knee was repaired. Knee feels good. I can't wait to get started on training again. It's 9 weeks till Coeur d'Alene, Idaho Ironman. So it's not a lot of time. I'm just gonna focus on getting my swim as strong as I can be, getting my bike as strong as it can be, and then just doing lots of walking. And when I'm cleared to start running a little bit, then I'll start running. You can see the scab where it originally hit during the crash. So
you don't wipe out with that much force to break many bones without causing a bit of damage to soft tissue. Yeah, it's very good at this stage of the game. I think you're ready to get back into some training.
If I can get a decent swim in and a half decent bike, now I can walk a marathon. It's there, it's right there. And the dream of Ultraman 2018 is not dead.
In order to apply to the Ultraman World Championships, you have to establish that you've done endurance events and you're capable of finishing the race under the cutoffs. And that means you have to finish an Ironman distance race in under 14 hours. And I had done Coeur d'Alene, Idaho race before, and I love the course, love the people. That's gonna be my prerequisite entrance race to get my application ready for Ultraman for 2018.
My left knee was killing me for 100 kilometers. That's not the one I had surgery on. It was the other one. So yeah, I lost a bunch of power on the bike because I just couldn't push on the knee. But I still did okay. Yeah, it's good. This is just the part where it gets hard, right? It gets real. It's hot and you're tired and so yeah, just try to keep the core temp down and keep moving. Forward is a pace.
There were a lot of question marks about finishing an Ironman under 14 hours, and it required an incredible amount of training and effort to achieve that goal, especially so fresh after knee surgery. My program to get from 0 running in 3 months to an Ironman was really aggressive, and I was over the moon when I crossed the finish line in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, under 14 hours.
Scott McDermott, Sylvan Lake, Alberta. You're an Ironman, Scott.
That's for Peter and Adam and Lyle. I had them with me the whole day. I was thinking of Peter and Adam and Lyle and Gary and everybody that was with me on the crash, even like you and Doug and all the things everybody did. Molly and Jen, everybody. I had them in my heart all day. Oh my God, it's good to be back.
It was a long road to recovery, but if there's somebody that embodies that warrior code spirit that Scott lives by, there's no question that at some point we were going to be back at the starting line for Ultraman, and there was no question that I would be part of that crew.
Working on the long road home. So we're out on a morning 200K ride. My friends Mark and Paul. Oh, it's so nice to go for a run. Getting her done. not how I wanted that run to end. Going around a bit of a corner and a little loose rock and clipped the toe, and now I'm heading to the hospital because that's not how that finger should look.
Physically, like, I went into triathlon training camp and I felt amazing. I was having so much fun. I was swimming in the lane next to the fast people, whereas a year ago I was 2 lanes away from them, and it was great. I felt strong, my legs felt fresh, I felt great. We did, a couple hours of running, and we're at the bottom and we could see the parking lot in the distance. The trail was flat, there was nothing going on, and I caught a toe and I tripped. And Michelle and Paul were like, you okay? And I was doing a quick self-check, and I'm like, nope, I gotta go to the hospital. I could see tendons and bone in this finger. I didn't know if I dislocated or broke it. It turns out I dislocated it. I didn't even care that it hurt. I was so frustrated at myself for tripping. So mad. And worried that psychological subconscious demon is there pulling on the marionette strings, and that freaks me out. I do not want to go back to Kona and crash ever again. So I'm trying to figure my way through that, and I know I need to get help and talk to somebody about that and figure out what's going on with that.
Well, why did I crash? Like, I'm a really good cyclist. Everybody else didn't crash. Christian did, but like out of 40 people, only 2 crashed. Well, why did I crash? Was that on purpose? Was there some kind of deep-seated subconscious thing where I crashed on purpose? And I spent a lot of time thinking about that and ruminating over it and researching it and asking questions of people that were more into psychology and deep thinking and stuff like that. And that's when I found Inge Jorl Clausen, who does vegetative training, and I actually flew to Germany.
My final session with Inge this morning. It's gonna be funny because when I get home, everybody's gonna say, so what happened? I don't know. I laid on a table and breathed a lot, because that's kind of what we did.
So it's quite amazing for something that seems so simple. Like the changes I feel. My knee doesn't hurt as much. I feel brighter. My energy's different. I'm not tired. It's fascinating.
Some kind of new vitality coming.
Yeah.
Anybody who starts with this will have lot of performance coming.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're looking at what's really triggering the body.
Right.
Emotions.
Yeah.
Relational experiences. How do they influence you?
He really came to the conclusion that because I was adopted, when I was born, my mom was like 17, and they took me away right immediately and put me in a hospital. And I was there for 6 months because I had a hiatus hernia in my esophagus and I was unfit for adoption. So I was in there for 6 months as an infant. And when you're an infant and you're pulled away from your mom and you don't get that cuddling and that contact and that constant 24/7 time with your mom and nursing and all those different things, when you're in a hospital, the only way to get attention is to scream until you're in pain. And the theory is that my brain hardwired that as this is how you get attention. You put yourself in a place of pain and you get attention. That's how that works. And that became hardwired into my brain. And when Inge said that, it was a little hard to accept, but when I look back at my life, I realized that played out over and over and over and over and over again. So that was really fascinating to learn and to almost set myself free from.
So a 5 or 6 bedroom place for the month, okay? And then flights coming in.
So I went to OT and they gave me these little braces and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna slowly straighten your fingers a little bit each week. And she said, your fingers will be straight in about 6 months. I was like, 6 months? She's like, yeah. And then it'll take about 6 months to get them to bend again. And I'm like, okay, I'm on a different timeline than you. So I went home with the braces that she made for me and they didn't hurt, they didn't feel like they were doing squat.
So I made my own. I went back after a week and they were just shocked. She's like, I've never seen fingers come back like that before. Like she's like bringing over the seniors. Look at this. Last week they were -32 and this week they're -7. And so I told her what I did and I kind of said, I'm sorry. That's what I did. And she's like, well, didn't that hurt? I'm like, oh yeah. I could hardly sleep for 3 days, but my fingers are straight.
I can start swimming sooner.
Can we start rehab? And yeah, my session with Inga in Germany was life-changingly awesome. Because I was toxically stressed before I left for Germany. Like I was a train wreck. That was hugely powerful, and I came back a different person. Like stuff doesn't ruffle me anymore, and I feel balanced and centered. I feel like my old self. It's not that life gives you a problem. It's that it gives you 20. You know, and the fact that this happened when the province was in the worst recession we've ever had, and I almost lost my business multiple times. And we were living in a duplex because we sold our house and didn't have a home. And we hadn't even moved in because it's like, we'll move in after I get back from Kona. And then I come back from Kona broken. Like we didn't see that coming. You know, the gym was about to collapse and I was having surgeries and I couldn't stay awake for more than an hour and a half at a time, and everything was just collapsing around us and we just kept going. I think that's part of the point, is to just keep going. Aloha and congratulations. We have reviewed your application and are pleased to accept you into the 2018 Ultraman World Championships. We're going back to Kona, buddy. Woohoo! We're going back.
Feels so good to be back. I kind of teared up a little bit getting off the plane and smelling that warm Hawaiian air, seeing the palm trees. I'm feeling incredibly blessed just to be here.
He took all those steps and here we are. You know, we're back on the Big Island in 2018 and he's done everything he has to do to get himself ready. And I think he's probably stronger now than he was in 2015.
Well, it's the prize, the struggle, and then the victory. So the prize was getting to Kona. The struggle has been the last 3 years after the accident. You know, the victory's probably just getting to the start line.
We've got 6 men and 2 women, 20 countries. That's winter. They have amazing ice skate racing on the lake as well.
Zero puking. Yeah! You got it, Scotty. Hammer flash, buddy. The warrior code. Nobody say it was easy.
The body says stop. Spirit cries, never!
Yeah! No surrender.
No surrender.
Fortunately on the swim, he didn't puke, which is the first time I think Scott's never puked on a swim.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. And that means that he's enjoying the bike right now and he's chatting and having a good time.
Feeling good, boys.
Ride hard. Yeah!
What a great day.
I was riding along, hammering on day 1 and flat front tire. I knew the guys were quite a ways behind me, but I thought, well, I'll release the tire and get it off. At least I'm ready when they get here. And I could hear in the distance, what's wrong? And I look up and there's Jeremy Howard, who's on Gaurav's team. I had no sooner finished taking the tire off, Jeremy was there with one of Gaurav's front tires, put it on, clipped it up, got on my bike and left. It was split seconds.
That is a change of flat tire in less than F1 Formula time. You just didn't hear the air guns.
We don't only crew for ourselves, we crew for everybody. Everybody wants everybody to do well.
We've got less than 15 kilometers to go, so we're booting it for the finish line to catch him cruising across the finish line. So it's pretty spectacular, honestly, knowing that here we are finishing day 1, 3 years later.
To wrap things up with him as well, we do want to thank
He did! Hey, buddy! I sure did. I won my race. Woo!
That was awesome.
Hey! Oh, goodness! Guys! Woo! You guys are awesome.
Fantastic.
Good job, Joe. That was brilliant. You guys are awesome.
Hot day, yeah?
Yeah.
What did you love about the swim?
Zero pukage.
Yeah.
Was not even a suggestion.
You were a happy camper when you got out of the water. Which was really odd.
There was yeah.
Jochen's here, and he looks awesome.
Yoo-hoo! Now I'm part of the Ohana.
Yeah. Woohoo! You're always part of the Ohana.
Boy, that guy's fast. Can't keep up. Looks like they're pulling in for a rest break.
There was probably dirt on my teeth at some point.
You're a clean bicycle!
Oh yeah.
She's ruined!
No, she's not. She's now in a Hawaiian setting.
Look at that. Tex Malasadas. I'm pretty excited about this.
Well, there they are. When you order the donut, that's when they make the donut. Bavarian cream and chocolate. And when you're on your bicycle for like 195 kilometers, there comes a point at around 180 kilometers, even 170, where all you're thinking about is a warm donut. A warm donut. I get to stop having electrolytes and gels and bars, and I get to have a warm donut. And in 2015, I didn't get my warm donut. That's pretty good. That's gonna taste even better on the 24th of November. The bridge in question, according to my Garmin, was the one right after this one. This is the fateful decision that I made that changed my world. You see how there's no safe place to ride across the bridge other than the sidewalk? And I had been doing this for dozens and dozens and dozens of bridges. You ride along and you just get onto the sidewalk piece and you just correct it out a little bit and you go across the bridge on the sidewalk out of traffic and on you go. Adam said that the bridge was covered in algae and was slippery. My bike came along here. When I corrected my tire a little bit, it slid out, probably hit that railing, and I bounced and cartwheeled down the bridge. And now today, Lyle and Jochen are approaching, and Lyle's gonna hop in the crew van and continue where we left off in 2015, and I'm gonna hop on my bicycle and ride to Waimea instead of being in an ambulance. And in a little over a week, I'm gonna be here again for the race. And if this island and Pele will just allow me safe passage, that'll be pretty cool.
I raced again in Ultraman Australia 2016, 6 months later, and I rode once on the road between World Champs and Ultraman Australia. I got on my bike once. So yeah, wasn't keen on getting back on the bike and wouldn't have done it any other time. As soon as I heard Scott was coming back, I was like, there's no way I could miss this.
There he is! Buddy! That little beauty scar, no worries, right?
For many of us, it was a life-changing moment, and I've come back to see him complete it. And I just want to be there at that finish line. I'll see him on day 3 and finish and give him a big hug.
There it is.
Since Drew started crewing and doing cam work for me, he started running.
Yeah! Trying to keep up to Scotty.
Attaboy.
It's warm.
Yep. 31, I believe.
I'm really surprised that he's in such a good shape. I had some doubts, but now I'm really confident. The day 2 course on the bike is tougher than on the old course. He knows that it will be a very challenging day, especially when it's windy. I hope I can help a little bit with my experience on the course, with my experience as an athlete. Yeah, we will make it.
We are likely to see some new benchmarks here today as well. Obviously, being a new and possibly more difficult course, we'll wait to see how times unfold. It's certainly going to be an interesting day throughout.
Used to be the course took us around the whole island. This time they're going to be going north on the highway but climbing up and over between the 2 volcanoes, so they'll be going up a lot more climbing on day 2.
We're kicking butt, man. He's looking good, he's having a good day. Hopefully we got footage of Drew falling over. That was pretty exciting.
No scrapes, no bruises, maybe a little scuff there.
That was good. I'm trying to take it easy. But it's a race.
You doing okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Just tired.
No, you're not.
Okay.
This is the climb up Saddle Road. Best guess we're about 80K in. So just about 30% of the way at about 3 hours. There's 13,000 feet of climbing, I think. So halfway up Everest, give or take.
Let's get it.
Nice shirt, buddy. Hi. I'm all sweaty. Mwah. Woo.
6 hours in, kind of halfway, so he's gonna have to push it. He only got 12 hours to get through 275 kilometers.
Well, it's not a spoon, hey?
We were supposed to give you a hard time too about not keeping up with Peter because we were going to go for a really nice emotional moment as the two of you cross the bridge together.
Gary and Peter both passed me. Like, yeah, we're not helping you again, buddy. You're on your own.
I said to Lyle, I thought the bridge was bigger because in my mind it was like a longer and bigger bridge, and probably because there was like so much happening on it. It was just weird to see it all peaceful and calm, and it was a complete victory to see Scott sail across it with no problems. He's just going. Thank you.
So Drew and I have one job today, just one, and it was to get malasadas. And I'm not sure that we're going to be successful by the time that Scott rolls by. Scott's burned 10,000 calories today, and the remaining 10,000 calories is right here. It's like a yin and yang, you know? Conservation of law and energy in the universe.
So talk to us, Johnny. What do you need?
Nothing. Coming around.
Yeah? Some special drink. Water? Cooling is better now, yeah? I'm really a little bit scared now. It looks like there's plenty of time, but it isn't.
No, there isn't.
There's a long uphill now. It's 16 miles to Almere and mostly uphill.
Day 2 of the 2018 Ultraman was really devastatingly difficult because a huge percentage of the field didn't make the cutoff on day 2 with the new course design.
Up the hill, 10:30, it is at least 1 hour. So he's struggling.
So in 2013 when he was doing this, going up Volcano, Lyle really had to run with him most of the way.
Yeah, okay.
So he's got to find that other gear.
Jochen and Lyle knew I wasn't going to make the cutoff. And Darren knew I wasn't going to make the cutoff unless something changed. It was raining and my body was furious. It didn't want any nutrition. And yet I was starving. I was so hungry. But everything I tried, my body just threatened to throw up. I was empty. I was absolutely hollow. And that's when the crew really rallies and they're sprinting beside me and they're yelling encouragements and they're saying different things to try and inspire me and they're motivating me to keep going and they're trying different foods. Try a licorice, try an M&M, try a peanut, try a chocolate milkshake, which worked in this case. And once I got that chocolate shake in me and my energy rebounded a little bit, that was encouraging. And then I started to just smash the pedals and just hammer and hammer. I flew through Waimea. I was averaging over 40 kilometers an hour after 11 hours of riding.
Dude, looking strong.
Feeling strong.
Hunt him. Hunt him. Go!
And even with that, we knew we were in danger of not making cutoff.
And here we are now approaching the final half an hour of official competition time.
And we made the big right turn on the Queen K Highway heading out to towards the park where the finish line is. And the sun was going down and one of my lenses had come out of my sunglasses and broke. So I didn't have my sunglasses and the sun setting in my eyes. And my headlamp was a dead battery. So we had to use this little small headlight so I could barely see the road as the sun went down. And it got pretty sketchy, but we were so committed to making that cutoff. That was the most incredible moment. From going, I don't think I can make it, to holy crap, we're gonna make it.
Almost time.
There was like this great, huge circle of friends waiting for me to cross the finish line. It was unreal.
As he comes up to the home stretch and comes through the Warrior Code, indeed it is Scott McDermott, 11:33.36 unofficially. He has made it to line. Well done, Scott. Yesterday he put in a 4:24 swim and a 5:50 bike, and we'll tell you his official day total for today as he did a 10:14.44 yesterday.
It was overwhelmingly emotional. I heaved, bawled against Lyle's neck and hugged him. Like it was it was something else. Just an uncontrollable moment.
48 minutes,
We did it!
The 49-year-old. A return to Port, a return to Kona on the Big Island, and a return 3 years after his major accident.
I love you so much. Right back at you, bro. Told you we'd get that finish line. We made it to day 3, that's the win, and he's just motoring along. So every step he takes is a step closer to the final finish line on this one, and we're getting there today, come hell or high water.
He's got a time here of 60 minutes and 35 seconds. He's got the Warrior Codes, Mr. Scott McDermott.
Day 3 at Ultraman is always interesting. You did a 10K swim, 145K bike on day 1, and then a 276K bike on day 2, and now you're gonna run a double marathon.
And it's hot.
It's 35 degrees Celsius heat, it's humid, there's black lava fields on both sides of the highway, and there's no shade ever. My legs really hurt walking to the start line of the double marathon. Like the first step hurt. And I really had to trust that my body would just do what it does and it would be fine.
He's strong, he's determined. He's probably the strongest pig-headed person out there.
He is the toughest person I know.
It's his passion and it's within him. I think I would have been more surprised had he not wanted to continue.
It's been really cool. It's healing in some way. And everybody that I bump into or talk to that was there on that day, I feel like not only am I filling in missing pieces, because I don't remember anything, but bringing things around and completing a circle for them too.
Just seeing how happy this makes him and to be here with him as part of this experience, that's amazing.
Like, as rough as it was, this is still a really big piece of him, and it means a lot.
1 marathon. 1.
That's right.
Now do 2.
I felt great for the first half marathon, and then the heat came on and the sun was really bright, and about 60 kilometers in, I just couldn't ignore the pain anymore.
I'll take 3. I need Coke or water.
That's when we had to have some Advil and just quiet that down a little bit and keep going.
We are about 21 kilometers, so essentially a half marathon to the finish, which is awesome. He's got some nasty blisters that have already formed. The Advil's kicked in though, so he said his pain level's back to a 7 instead of a 10, and he's back to like a 6.5 minute pace. You're doing awesome, Scott. Excited to get to that finish line. It's been a long time coming, and wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
And go for your dreams. Like, dream big. This thing is big. It's huge. But just go for it anyway. You know, because you don't know what you have in you until you try it.
Now we get to call him back to a finish line, back from that horrible crash. Successful completion for Scott McDermott with a sub 11 clock in 10:50.
I feel like myself again for the first time in a long time. I feel whole again.
And his 3-day total is therefore 32 hours, 36 minutes.
Welcome to Lava Java. We're fueling up properly. That's right. Scotch swimming. We're good.
It's a tough job.
You should look into crewing.
Got the map going, had our meeting number 1. We'll pick up Drew this afternoon, have another meeting tonight.
Let's go!
I jumped off a cliff. Well, I kind of slid off one. Looks like dirt, but it's not. We aren't. I got it.
This is the Easter egg of the film, where you can actually see a whale breach. So Drew, if there isn't a whale breaching by my finger right now, make sure that there's digitally edited one afterwards, please.
smoothie.
I feel much better.
You cannot recommend that smoothie, yeah?
Oh, it was good.
Oh, it was good.
He said it was good coming back up. It was good coming up too.
I just can't tell you how much this race means to me and how much it means to be here and to finish and to see all of you. Thank you all for the hugs. That day 2 finish was spectacular. I was surrounded by people and I ugly bawled for a good 5 minutes. But this means the world to me. I've been focusing on this race for 3 years. It's gotten me through some pretty dark times. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. I love you all. Thank you so much.
Seat saver. Sorry, I don't know that. What is that?
This is awesome.
Goop for the boys. When I need refreshments, I reach for my performance shaker cup.